Now, here's a great definition of learning assistance that I found in the literature besides my own. Learning support is defined as any activity beyond a college program's content that contributes to the individual student's attendance, retention, learning, and achievement. I think the hybrid course incorporates as part of its outcomes these three areas. One, student success, because the student now is connected much more with the instructor than with a typical online course. Two, satisfaction, because now the student is getting help in the skills that he or she needs to succeed in face-to-face, online, or hybrid. And most importantly, I think, is the carryover into the real world, to their career. I've spent years as a corporate consultant working with like Peter Kiewit Sons in Omaha, the FBI, American Heart Association, Southern Cal Edison, Ryan Teledyne, a lot of managers. And what is it I was working with them on? These middle managers, time management, task organization, how to organize a task, whether it's a learning task or a task that's job related. And also stress reduction. Because again, you're going to be under stress, I think, in most of your courses, and particularly in online courses, because you're kind of out there by yourself and you've got other things happening that doesn't happen in the classroom, like family impacting on the student trying to get his or her work done. The readiness that a student should have for online courses, hybrid or all online, would be one, psychological, because a student is almost a lone learner. With a hybrid, he is less a lone learner than in a fully online course. All right. Now, secondly, in addition to that, we're talking about technological readiness. There are certain rubrics that a student must follow with email, with his computer, that we call technological readiness. And in a book that I've co-authored called Online Student Skills and Strategies Handbook, there are tutorials specifically related to the technology as well as to the study skills. So that kind of readiness is important. And of course, the last readiness is learning and study strategies. Aston, who has done all of the studies out of UCLA, and many, many other studies indicate that students are not taught and do not use study skills in high school. Therefore, they come to college with no background in this area. Now, that means they're not really prepared to meet the demands of hybrid, online, or face-to-face. We think our students are savvy about technology. Yes, they are. MP3, iPods, podcasting, blogs, wikis, yes. Online learning, no. So we're really talking about the difference between being savvy for fun and games and being savvy for learning and career work. I think instructors should incorporate three things, at least three things, in their hybrid or online course. And one would be that in the syllabus, which the student reads, and hopefully the instructor tests the students on that, and see what a wonderful way in a classroom face-to-face to say, you've all read the syllabus? Yes. All right, John, what did I say about how to read a question and answer it from the textbook? You see what you can do, you can't really do as well in a online course. Okay, that would be one. And then two, with a special button, whether it's in Blackboard, Angel, Sakai, Desire to Learn, e-learning, WebCT, any one of them, a special button called Learning Support. And in the syllabus, you tell the students everything that you need to be successful in this course in terms of skills and competencies, you'll find under that button. Now, what a wonderful thing for a student. Doesn't have to go anywhere except press that button, and all of this comes up for him or her to peruse and to work with. So I think that would be a second one. And then finally, the instructor has to take the time to find the materials. Now, luckily, that's easy for him at this point, because on his campus or her campus, there is probably a learning center. And I would recommend the instructor meet with the learning center director and the staff and say, what do you recommend for your students for learning and study strategies? One of the available tools for the instructor is the Learning Support Center in Higher Education. And I can't emphasize that enough. That is a free web portal. There's no advertising like some of the websites where if you go there, they're talking about, well, you know, there's all kinds of things. No, this is a higher ed only, higher educational website, and a section called Resources, Online Teaching Learning, broken down into 7 or 8 different areas, will give them many, many articles and many ways of helping a student with those competencies, with those learning and study strategies.